the pursuit of happiness. We all want to be happy, but not everybody knows how. And there is actually one very important aspect that I want to start with right away. The fact that our mind has the tendency to associate happiness with people, with situations, or with objects. And when we do that, when we associate our happiness with other people or objects or situations, we actually somehow put the power over our happiness in the hands of something which is or somebody external. And this is actually an illusion. This is a trick that the mind plays with us because the mind doesn't know better. But the fact is that we have the ability to feel happiness, to perceive the state of happiness. If we want to come with definition of happiness, happiness is a specific form of energy that we are able to feel. And when that type of energy, the energy of happiness, enters in our inner universe, we feel a state of happiness. This energy of happiness is always the same, it's infinite, and we can tap into it at will no matter when. We can also think a little bit practical. When we speak about happiness, usually we associate it also with an organ. We say that my heart beats faster now. So there are many proverbs in connections with happiness that refer to the heart. And in the holistic yoga system, the heart is in connection with the fourth center, which is called anahata, or the spiritual heart. So whenever we have access to our spiritual heart, we actually have the possibility to tap into the infinite reservoir of happiness that our spiritual heart is making possible for us. Let's go through some very simple, very practical ways to increase our happiness. So whenever we start our day, it's very good that we, instead of just rushing to a new day, we take 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, we just lay down on our back in the bed, and we connect to our spiritual heart in the middle of our chest, and we do our best to remember some happy moments so that we start the day in this manner. We can also choose a very simple force idea or positive affirmation to keep our thoughts focused on something which is beneficial. For example, we can simply say, today I choose happiness, because actually happiness is a choice. We can also engage ourselves a little bit more in the practice of meditation. And I will just remind you again of a Buddhist or a Zen proverb, which says like this: you need to meditate, especially if you don't feel happy or you feel stressed, you need to meditate 20 minutes per day. And if you feel you don't have time enough, then meditate for 1 hour. You can also do in the morning, if you set up your alarm to ring so that it wakes you up, instead of a jarring morning alarm, choose a very pleasant alarm song, which can be, for example, birds singing or any type of song or music or sounds which are very harmonious. You can also start a practice of gratitude. So, for example, you can either write down or simply think of at least 3 things that you are grateful for. And whenever you are feeling this state of gratitude, you'll also notice that you will increase your happiness because you focus on positive aspects. Also, in the morning, you can simply take a few moments to notice the sun is up. This is a new day, and simply thank for a new chance, a new day, a new possibility for you to be happier, to grow as a person, to learn beneficial things. I always do this in the morning. So as soon as I wake up, I thank you for a new day, for a new chance for me to grow as a human being, to be better, to learn things that will help me develop. Another thing that we can all do much better and much more is to have self-compassion, more self-compassion that we have, especially when we don't feel so good, when we feel down. We need to treat ourselves with love, with kindness, with patience. We shouldn't judge ourselves. We should really have a very deep, profound love relation to ourselves from a soul point of view. So we also can nourish our body a little bit more, because when our body is healthy, we also have an increased ability to feel happy. So for example, whole foods, more water, enough sleep, exercising, anything that you know it's good for your body, we can do it more, because that will make us feel also happier. We can also, if you think it's a good idea, you can start a journaling practice. So whenever you feel that your mind is filled with too many thoughts, just grab a piece of paper and a pen and write the thoughts down, because in that manner you will just empty your mind and you move your thoughts from your mind to a piece of paper, and also achieving a state of mental peace. It will increase your ability to feel happier. We all know, for example, that spending time in nature is really soothing. It's like a balsam for our soul. So spending time in nature, especially now that it's summertime and it's beautiful weather, it can really boost the hormones of happiness and help us feel happier, the happiest. You can also use post-it notes with, for example, your favorite quotes or love messages to yourself, and place them a little bit randomly in your house. So whenever you see them, you will have a very beautiful, your favorite quote or a love message to yourself, and that will also help us be a little bit more happy. You can also do something which is extremely useful. Decide what you want to feel. We have a choice. So even when in our inner system there are feelings which are not exactly the most glorious, we still have the freedom to choose. So choose what you want to feel, and if you want to feel happiness, peace, contentment, gratitude, do something in an active manner to cultivate all those feelings, and don't allow the negative feelings to take over, because it's up to us. We can choose whatever we want to feel. Another thing we can do is, for example, read just a few paragraphs or a page or two from inspiring books, because whenever we read very good books, very inspiring books, spiritual texts, for those moments, those minutes that we read the book, we actually enter in a state of almost paranormal telepathic contact with the author of the book and with the state that the author had while writing the book. So reading inspiring books which are written by spiritual people, for example, will also place you in resonance with the same state, with the same frame of mind. So as long as you read those paragraphs or those pages in the book, you'll also feel the state, and that can make you happier. You can also do something which I know it's a little bit silly and a little bit funny, but from time to time you can simply take a break and dance. Just to move yourself from your mind into your body and just enjoy the feeling of being alive. You don't have to do it while other people are looking at you. So when you are alone and you feel that you're a little bit too much up in your mind, take a short break and dance to your favorite music. We can also write down a list with our current goals. And we can even note a little bit by every goal how much closer we are to that one. Because in this manner, we focus our energies and we focus our aspirations towards something which is beneficial. And by that, we lift up ourselves to a better state of mind. We can also do something which I love doing, performing acts of kindness. You can come up with hundreds of ideas how you can perform some acts of kindness, because when you do that, you send a very positive energy to other people, and they will respond, they will have a feedback, and that will also help increasing the happiness. We can also do something also which is very healthy from many points of view, mixing up a little bit our routines. So from time to time, try something new. Do the daily things you do in a different way. We can also do something else. Instead of worrying about things, replace that with wondering. Okay, this is the situation. What's the best scenario? What can I do it in such a way that instead of worrying about it, I can come with a very good solution to that. So you will see that many times inspiration and sometimes brilliant ideas will come up to your mind, and of course that will also increase our ability to be happy. We can from time to time just stop, look at nature, look at trees, flowers, other people, and just wonder, just feel this state of wonder in front of the miracle of life. And you will see there is so much mystery and so much beauty around us that when we succeed in keeping our mind a little bit calmer and quieter, we will be able to marvel at the beauty and the miracles of life. We can also do something which requires a little bit of training, but it's also very healthy for our mind and our emotional dimension: letting go. Letting go of things, letting go of people, letting go of relationships, letting go of future plans, letting go of goals which no longer serve us, which no longer are taking us in the desired, in the good directions for us. Also, another thing, another practical aspect that we can do is pay ourselves compliments. So right now when you are watching me, think of a compliment you can pay yourself. For example, I can tell myself, you look very young today. You can also come up with many ideas. Paying compliments to yourself, it's actually helping you appreciate yourself a little bit more than maybe on a daily basis you do. And believe me, you have many things to appreciate at yourself. Even if right now you cannot come up with so many ideas, if you just take a step back and look at yourself as a unique human being, you will find many aspects, many qualities, many beautiful sides that you can compliment yourself for. You can also create a very good morning ritual for yourself, so that you really start your day in the most beneficial manner, so that you are charged, your batteries are full, and your frame of mind is wonderful. We need to move a little bit more maybe than we do right now. If you are not a bodybuilder, then think of simple exercises which are good for your body, which are not putting your body in any type of danger, because when we move, we have more blood flow through our veins, we get a higher oxygenation, our brain will get a kick, and then we will feel a little bit more happy. Also, it is very good from time to time to just stop for a few seconds and simply acknowledge the small things that we love and we like, and then if we have the time for them, do them. For example, a small walk in the park, or reading some good book, or having dinner with friends. So from time to time we can allow ourselves, we can grant ourselves the benefits of doing a little bit more what we love. Also, because I mentioned creating a good morning routine, we can also have a very good evening routine. So when the end of the day comes, we can simply take a few minutes to look back at the day and simply be grateful for everything that happened without labeling it, and just realize that by going through all those situations during that day, we actually learned something, and we were able to use a little bit more of our abilities so that we can cope with the situation in the best manner possible. We can also be a little bit more courageous and do something that scares us, do something good that scares us, because when we get out of our comfort zone, then we will also learn a little bit in a more accelerated pace, and that will trigger adrenaline, and we will feel happier also by doing that. We can also write a list of people we need to forgive. If it is necessary, we can put ourselves on the list. Forgiveness really is a universal cure. It can take away so much suffering and so much pain, emotional pain from us, that it is one of the best things we can do for ourselves. Forgiving is not always easy, but think like this: if you do not forgive somebody, it's like you eat poison and you expect the other one to die. They maybe live happily, they don't even know that they did something to hurt you, but because you don't forgive them, you will suffer even more. So it's not a very practical attitude to have, not being able to forgive. We can also cultivate a mindset of abundance and really acknowledge, pay attention, notice everything that we have in our life. So instead of focusing on things that we don't have, is much more beneficial for us to focus on the things we already have. We can also take small steps towards accomplishing different beneficial goals that we set for ourselves in our life. We can also ask our soul, the universe, God, whomever you believe in, to give us more miracles in our life, to place more magic in our life. It's very good to have this transfiguring perspective upon life and aspects, to strive to see the magic and the miraculous in life. And in connection with that, we can really acknowledge the fact that it is a miracle we are alive. So two people meeting each other, falling in love and giving birth to us, that's a huge miracle. We can pay a little bit more attention to our gifts, passions, and interests, and give them more time, practice them a little bit more. We can also lay back a little bit and practice accepting the things we cannot change, and instead focus upon the things we can change. And also it is very healthy to know the difference between the two, because sometimes we really think we can change some aspects and situations, and we fight so much for that, we push so much until we feel a little bit depleted of our energies and not very happy. It is also very healthy for us to feel our feelings instead of ignoring them or numbing them down, because feeling your feelings without any judgment, it is quite healthy. You just notice, I feel a state of. And it is also actually more beneficial to think in this manner. Instead of saying I am sad or I am unhappy, you can put things into another perspective and say it like this: I feel a state of unhappiness. It is me who feels that state, I am not unhappiness, I just feel a state of. And then remember, we spoke about it a little bit earlier, we have the possibility to choose. So decide what you want to feel and then cultivate that state. But acknowledge, feel the feelings that you have. But from this perspective, I feel a state of, instead of saying I'm sad or I'm unhappy or I'm stressed or I'm whatever it is which is not so good. And of course, when you have a state of happiness, when you feel happiness or joy or enthusiasm or exuberance, you can also have the same distance from them and say, I feel a state of, instead of saying I am, because when you say I am, you identify yourself with that. And sometimes it is not the best for us. We can also send blessings to other people in our heart, in our mind, in our soul, because it's much better to send blessings and love and beneficial thoughts than judgments and grudges and other feelings which are poisoning ourselves actually. We can think of how can I use the gifts I have a little bit better every single day. We can also choose to be led by love and not by fear, because fear is never creating anything positive in our life. And definitely fear is not creating our ability to be happy. It's actually inhibiting it a lot. We can also drop comparing ourselves and competing ourselves with others, and instead we can think, this is the best of me. This is what I can do best today. So it's pointless for me to compare myself with others or to compete with them. And also continuing with the same idea, but from another angle, we can decide to be a light, to be an inspiration for other people, and really to notice what type of state of thoughts we have, so that instead of emanating our stress or emanating when we don't have positive feelings, instead of emanating them towards others, we should strive to emanate light and joy and love, or at least to be calm and neutral. We need also to listen much more to our souls and to, we can call it inner voice or intuition, because our soul knows and has the answers to all our questions, and it has very good solutions for all our problems. We can also surround ourselves with people who are positive, who are joyful, who are also a ray of light, we can put it like that. It is very good to know our values, to incorporate them every single day in our life, because let me put it like this, when we believe in ourselves, when we know our value, when we have self-confidence, it's actually exactly that. We believe we have these qualities. When we lack self-confidence, it's also belief, but it's a negative belief. We don't believe we have those qualities. So belief will work for us in both directions, both the positive one and the negative one. So it's much better for us to believe in the qualities we have and the abilities that we possess. So it will make them stronger every time we focus upon them. We can also really look into the mirror and sincerely tell ourselves, you are enough. You are good enough. You are kind enough. You are intelligent enough. You are enough. We can do the same for others. So instead of judging others or criticizing others, we can simply celebrate the beauty in them, the light in them, the qualities they have. So this, as you notice, all these practical tips that I'm going through, it's actually training our ability to focus upon beneficial, positive aspects from all the possible angles we can think of. Of course, there can be thousands of ways in which we train our ability to focus almost all the time on beneficial aspects. when you see the beauty, when you see the miracles, when you marvel yourself, when you are enthusiastic, when you have beneficial goals, when you are able to control your feelings, when your mind is filled with beautiful thoughts, of course you are happy. Of course you experience a wonderful state of happiness. Subscribe and get access to all the training videos, those already published and the ones on their way. I wish you a wonderful day.